over signing Jeremy Lin?
Well, I just thought I tweeted it on the NBA show, and I was curious if you were gonna not be a fan of it. But there's this big YouTuber who tweeted out. I'm getting a call. Um, there's this big YouTuber that tweeted that like they're making a documentary of 2 weeks of basketball, and I'm like, do you what? tell me you weren't a part of Linsanity without telling me you weren't a part of Linsanity.
Cody Zeller signed with the Utah Jazz, but
It's over. What? Cody Zeller?
They need some big man depth. Udoka Azubuike needs some backups.
Go sign Cameron Krutwig from Europe before I'd sign.
Cameron Krutwig's a bum who's gonna lose his.
You know what would be crazy is Cody Zeller could be anywhere between 28 and 33. He could be anywhere between.
Okay, so we're gonna go back. Were you part of Linsanity? I thought Linsanity was cool.
It was freaking awesome, and it didn't last 2 weeks. And he's 29.
It did what? It was fucking. He's like 32.
He's 29. Of course, he's 29.
He's 32.
How that make Cody Zeller is 29 years old.
Jeremy Lin is 34.
Oh yeah,
We're not talking about Cody Zeller. We're talking about Jeremy Lin. I was just letting you know about Cody Zeller.
I just don't know how you can look at a career 12-4 player as 2 weeks of basketball.
So
Linsanity had, first off, 35 games with the New York Knicks, but he got signed by Houston and played and started in every game the next season. Jeremy Lin had a very successful NBA career to me.
All right, so let's put it like this. So I've seen a lot of like white and black people say on Twitter that like the reason why they think this documentary is stupid is because if this was a black basketball player, a white basketball player, there wouldn't be a documentary. It's just 2 weeks of basketball. And then the responses from like the woke people and like just people in general, and I agree with this take, is that like regardless of that he's not white or black, the thing is he took over and the media went crazy because he was an Asian American basketball player, and he people don't realize how much he inspired, Asian Americans. Exactly. And that's why there's a documentary. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I believe. Like I will understand the hate that some people are giving the fact that he got a documentary for just 2 weeks of basketball, when like if it was any other white or black player, wouldn't have been a big deal. But people don't realize like Linsanity. Like when I go to a rec, there's so many Asian basketball players who like Linsanity led to China wanting the NBA to be shown, and like the game growing overseas, and like, inspired plenty of Asian basketball players that, that they can make it to the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why you're giving shit over it. It was a cool story. Don't get me wrong. I didn't sit here and go like, oh my God, Jeremy Lin's going to be a fucking superstar. Oh my God, we got to be sitting here like Jeremy Lin's stock is all the way up. No, I was just like, he had a good run, Also, I was like 13,
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought it was cool, but you knew it was just a good run. You knew it wasn't going to last for fucking forever.
I think that this is a very big storyline for Asian Americans and New York Knicks basketball fans. That Jeremy Lin in his rookie season played 29 games, averaged 10 minutes a night. So when he comes on to the Carmelo-less New York Knicks and just kind of takes over, he drops 38 against the Los Angeles Lakers. He sinks a game winner against the Toronto Raptors. It's not just 2 weeks of good basketball. And it's not just an Asian American player taking over. It's
more. It's like people. What?
It's a young storyline it gives hope for everybody.
It's an underdog.
It's basketball. Exactly. It's a player nobody knew. It's a player nobody cared about. Comes on to a very historic and successful basketball franchise.
You're forgetting the best part about it is that this is a kid who went to Harvard, okay? An
Yep,
Ivy League kid.
exactly.
The people
Yep.
forget Jeremy Lin is probably one of the smartest fucking humans in the world. He's a fucking Harvard graduate. And then he goes to the Golden State Warriors, I think did he play the whole season as like on their G League team? He was in the with the Warriors organization his first season where he was stoked because people forget that he's from California. He like the Golden State Warriors are his team, and if you guys don't know this, San Francisco has and just California in general has a really large Asian American population. Like it's like the largest demographic of Asian Americans, and like this, like you said, it was an underdog story, undrafted. Goes from not being basically barely being in the D League to being a call up. Who after I believe the Jeremy Lin story right here, we'll read how he ended up on the court, how this all started. Because also people forget that Harvard set numerous programs, including wins, non-conference wins, home wins. Lin also finished his career as the first player in Ivy League history to record 1,400 points, 450 rebounds, 400 assists, 200 steals, and he graduated with a degree in economics with a 3.1 grade point average in 2010, okay? And he played with the Warriors in the Summer League. He basically spent that whole season on the Warriors, and the Warriors saw Lin as a potential backup for Curry, and Lake Gub said the team received more than one trade offer for Lin while he was in the D-League, adding, he's a minimum inexpensive asset. You need to look at him as a developing asset. He's going to be a superstar? No. Okay? And rookie season average, 2.6 points on 38% shooting in 29 games. And he actually injured his patellar ligament in his knee while training, okay? And he played a few games for the Chinese Basketball Association for the Donggon Leopards, where he was the MVP of the tournament. And then he came back, worked on his jump shot during the offseason, abandoning the form he had used since the 8th grade. He also increased his strength, doubled the weight he squatted from 110 pounds to 231 pounds, almost tripled the number of pull-ups he could do from 12 to 30, increased his body weight from 200 to 212, including 15 pounds of muscle, added 3.5 inches to his standing vertical, 6 inches to his vertical jump, and improved his lateral quickness by 32%. Due to the lockout, he never got a chance to show, what he could be made of for the new coach, Mark Jackson, as they waived him so the Warriors could make an offer to restricted free agent DeAndre Jordan. And the Houston Rockets claimed him off of waivers, and then they waived him after he played 7 minutes in 2 preseason games, as they already had Kyle Lowry, Goran Dragic, and Johnny Flynn. And they waived him so they could get Samuel Dalembert. And then after the New York Knicks waived Chauncey Billups for cap space to sign Tyson Chandler. And after an injury to Iman Shumpert, the team claimed off of waivers to back up Tony Douglas and Mike Beebe. And recently signed guard Baron Davis had been injured and was weeks away from playing. And because of the lockout, coaches had little opportunity to see Lin playing and put him as the 4th point guard on the depth chart. Mm-hmm. And he was competing for just a 15th spot, saying that he was the 12th or 15th guy off the bench. He continued to arrive first at practice and leave last, intensely studying film, working with coaches to prove his footwork and judgment. And Lin made his season debut on the road against the Warriors, where he got cheers. But this is where it all went down, okay?
He averaged 6 minutes a game before he started playing. I believe they lost 10 straight games, and he comes in, wins 7 straight games. I just think anybody who thinks this doesn't deserve what he's getting is just an absolute idiot. But
so this is where Linsanity started. So after he was there, they assigned him the Knicks in January to the D League. And in 2 games, the first game on January 20th, he drops a triple-double, 28 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists. Okay. And then 3 days later, he's recalled and was fearful of being cut again, that he asked a chaplain at a pregame prayer service to pray for him. And Baron Davis postponed his debut for the Knicks due to an elbow infection and back pain. Contemplating signing another player, the Knicks were considering releasing Lin. However, after New York squandered a 4th quarter lead in February 3rd in a loss to the Boston Celtics, coach Mike D'Antoni, in desperation according to experts, decided to give Lin a chance to play. He got lucky because we were playing so bad. 3-point guards had failed to run D'Antoni's offense, and fans demanded to fire him. Lin had only played 55 minutes through the Knicks' first 23 games, and the Knicks had lost 11 of the last 13 games. However, he unexpectedly led a Knicks resurgence, and he dropped on February 4th against the Nets and all-star guard Deron Williams, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and a 92-99 win for the Knicks. And that went on to lead, what was it? A fucking
It was like 6 straight 20-point games. The energy in Madison Square Garden, the energy in New York, it's just something you can't really process unless you see it or experienced it. I think even just, I know we were younger, but I think that was when I was like not first getting into basketball, but that's when I was a couple years into watching basketball. And this is something, when Jeremy Lin was playing basketball, this is before streamies. People got to remember, even all the way back to like 80s, 90s, early thousands, you are watching what's on your TV.
What was on cable.
When Jeremy Lin was doing what he was doing and he was resurging this recent horrible New York Knicks team, they're all televised. And when he drops 38 points against the Los Angeles Lakers with Kobe Bryant, these are games you are watching. I have no personal connection to the city of New York or the state of New York or the New York Knicks in any way, shape, or form. And these are games you are not missing. There's an energy when you're watching these games live where it's like you see Jeremy Lin drop 38 points against the Lakers, and it's like that might be the best game I've ever seen from a single player. But like I said, I'm only a couple years into watching it. It's just the energy. It's something you can't really it can't be redone. You can't look over it again. You can't just like watch one game of Jeremy Lin highlights and be like, you have to watch the full rise. And I think that's what this documentary will perfectly capture, is the energy and the emotion with not only Jeremy Lin, but what he did for, the city of New York, or city of New York City, the franchise of the New York Knicks, for Asian Americans, for underdog basketball players. It was just such a truly great time that I think all basketball enjoyers can look back on and come to a agreement like that was awesome. And I think that tweet that I saw in specific for somebody who had like 200K big time YouTuber saying something like that, I think is completely idiotic. And I cannot believe it. It shows me you weren't a part of it. That's all it is. Jeremy, and especially for younger kids right now, Jeremy Lin is something where it's like you hear these stories of, you try and see what you can see, and it's like this tale almost. This, I don't know if you can think of the word I'm looking for. It's
almost like like we said, is underdog, inspirational story. Like you could literally take the Jeremy Lin story and make it a movie and people would buy and go through it. Like, why do you think people love fucking Kurt Warner? Why did you think I went and saw the Kurt Warner movie in theaters with my best friend? Okay. Like December last year, I bought I didn't buy my friend's ticket, but I like convinced everyone ditched us. I got like a six guys to go, but then all 4 guys bailed, and my like best friend since like we were 15, he came with me, and him and I just sat there, ate popcorn, drank a few beers, watched Kurt Warner. Like, it was an okay movie, but like Jeremy Lin, what is the same thing? We love Kurt Warner because he was bagging groceries. Then he fucking broke every arena football record and set every arena football. And then first year ever, Trent Green blows out his knee and he wins the MVP, Kurt Warner, and leads them to a Super Bowl ring.
It's one of the craziest NFL stories of all time.
Yeah, and Kurt Warner, okay, Jeremy Lin is like it's an underdog story that like the sudden ascendance is what it is. And that 12 starts before the All-Star break, Lin averaged 22.5 points and 8.7 assists, leading New York to a 9-3 record. He played in the Rising Star Challenge, okay? And USA Today, Los Angeles Times, CBS Sports said that he should have been an All-Star. And in March, the Knicks replaced D'Antoni with Coach Mike Woodson. I don't know if you remember this, who ended up running a different, like more isolation, less pick and rolls.
Lit it up 18-6.
Yeah, but like he actually didn't play as well because Lin was better suited for Mike D'Antoni's pick and roll heavy offense. But in a game against the Pistons on March 24th, he complained about a sore knee, and it revealed a small meniscus tear in his left knee. And Lin opted to have knee surgery and miss the remainder of the regular season. And he averaged 18.5 points, 7.6 assists during his 26 games as an every game player. And he finished 6th in voting for most improved. And it's crazy to think about the fact that even though he had that success, people were still uncertain about his overall standing among the league's overall point guards because people still believe he was a bench player. And Mike D'Antoni said in July 2016 that he recalled some players on the Knicks resented Lin during the Linsanity period, an account that was corroborated by Lin's former Knicks teammate, Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire said that, like there was real resentment, and it was, it was coming from not only like his players, but like Carmelo Anthony was throwing shade. Like people didn't like it because, well, they didn't like because Amari gets hurt. They moved Melo to power forward because they had to, and that's okay because it's okay with Melo because Amari wasn't there, and they exploded. And it's like, oh man, I resigned 2 weeks too early. Then we could have overcame our problems, like
a salty old man. I don't like that at all. And also, keep in mind, this was the year of the lockout. Weird year. And probably experience that soon. And it's just everything is going to be different. Keep in mind, who'd they play round one?
I don't know who.
2012 Miami Heat.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
Was
so I think if the Miami Heat didn't exist, and I throw in the Boston Celtics, Boston actually almost took them down in the conference finals in 7 games. But like, if the New York Knicks were to even just make the finals, this would not be right. If Jeremy Lin, if this New York Knicks team won the NBA finals, not a single soul would be like, this doesn't deserve something.
When was the last time a New York Knicks team won the NBA finals? Fucking pussy. Last time they went, wasn't it against the Spurs in like '96 where Patrick Ewing lost, or was that against the Bulls? Wait, no, it wouldn't have been against the Bulls. Wasn't it against? The last time they went to a finals was with, like, you remember it's with that Starks guy in Houston. They had Houston
1999.
Yeah, it was like Houston, Starks, Ewing was on that team, and they lost to who? The Spurs in '99, because I think it was Tim Duncan and the Admiral led the Spurs. I think that's how Tim Duncan won his first title that year, or it might have been the Lakers.
Yep, you're right.
It's the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, fuck, man. Like, how do we even get onto the Spurs whole thing? Yeah, so the Knicks. Okay, yeah, the Knicks. They have it. Why are they a poverty franchise? Like, if you take out the fact that like they are the mecca of basketball, Madison Square Garden, dude, they had Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony in their fucking primes and didn't do did not win. Like, can we agree that like the New York Knicks wasted, Amari Stoudemire? And I know Amari Stoudemire was like going down or but they really wasted Carmelo Anthony.
They haven't won 2 rounds. They haven't gotten past the first round of the playoffs since 2000.
That's crazy.
So I think it's more recent. You could go all the way back to, we'll look at first 3 years of NBA. They made the finals all 3 years. They went through a little drought. Then early 70s, they kind of ran that ship. Early 90s, all of the 90s, they were a pretty solid team and lost in 1994. And I wouldn't call them poverty at all, but I wouldn't say they should be a lot more. There's no excuse for the New York Knicks for 22 years to not make it past the first round of the playoffs. There's no excuse for that. You're the New York Knicks. And it's a crazy, unfathomable stat to me.
I just think it's crazy to think about that Amari Stoudemire went from averaging in his first season with the Knicks 25.3 points. Like, basically, he was. I know his knees literally just gave out on him, but we only got one good year of Amari Stoudemire being like the true player. But imagine a prime Amari Stoudemire, like Carmelo. I honestly think they wasted Carmelo Anthony. We all agree Carmelo should have left. What was it, in 2015? He could have joined Dwayne Wade, and
he could have gone to Chicago too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was it 2015? He could have joined Dwayne Wade, and it was.
Oh, are you saying with Rondo and?
Yeah, Dwayne Wade, Rondo, and Jimmy Butler.
That was 2017.
2016.
He should have. They weren't. It was my senior year when Rondo and Wade came over. He should have gone with. He should have gone to Chicago probably with LeBron. Is actually in what is that, 2010?
So in 2014 it was. In 2014.
Oh, okay, that's right. I was in high school.
So on June 23rd, 2014, Anthony informed the Knicks that he would opt out of his contract and become a free agent. And remember, we had like 2 weeks where we were like, holy fuck, Carmelo's a unrestricted free agent. And then he fucked us. And on July 13th, he re-signed with the Knicks on a 5-year deal. But I think that was it. It was in 2014 because it would have been D Rose, Jimmy Butler, because the whole thing was if Melo joins the Bulls, they would have probably kept Joakim Noah and D Rose and Jimmy, and then oh my god, he should have
because that was the final year with LeBron in Miami. That was when LeBron was a free agent as well, and he went back home.
Yeah, and wasn't there rumors
so the
of
Heat
maybe
dismantled?
Yeah, and the Heat dismantled, and weren't the Bulls in the running for LeBron? I bet you if Melo.
That's what I'm saying is Carmelo probably should have gone to Chicago with LeBron James in 2014.
And Melo, I know the year, so before the season before he opted out, he was averaging 27.5. And then the season after he resigned, he averaged 24. Then the following year, 21. Then the following year, 22. So you would have still gotten 3 years of Melo before he fell off to the Oklahoma City numbers, which were 16. But one could argue Carmelo didn't start to really fall off. I don't even know. Like, I think Carmelo would have had at least 3 more years. I think if he had stayed on a team like the Bulls, I think Carmelo career ending would have changed. I think it was just people didn't like Carmelo.
I don't think that I honestly don't really think Melo's fallen off ever. At 30,
the league changed.
You're averaging 13. Yeah, league changed, and he had to become a role player.
Yeah,
but he was still a very serviceable role player.
It's just that, so his brand of style was ISO ball, but once he lost the athleticism, his brand of ISO ball didn't work in the NBA anymore.
Had to become a true shooter.
Had to become true, exactly.